This is Catholic Challenge, a quiz show that tests your knowledge of the Catholic faith. From altar to zealot and amice to wimple, we've got the questions to test your mettle. Take up your shield and raise your sword. It's time to stand firm in the glory of the Lord. Are you up to the challenge? Catholic Challenge 2.0 is here. Are you ready? And now, here is your host, Barbara G.
Hello and welcome to Catholic Challenge 2.0, an exclusive production of the Living Bread Radio Network. I'm your host, Barbara G., and with me today is my co-host, PJ Chavez. Hi, PJ. How you
Barbara.
Doing today?
Oh, fantastic.
Very good. All right, listeners, we're going to spend the next 30 minutes testing your knowledge of the Catholic faith. I hope you're up to the challenge. PJ, let's give our listeners the rules.
Okay, here are the rules. We will ask 10 multiple choice questions in the first 3 rounds. Each correct answer is worth 10 points. Now for classroom, homeschooling, or team play, you can download our free scoring sheet at livingbreadradio.com. Now the fourth and final round is the challenge round. This round increases the difficulty since no multiple choice answers will be provided, and each correct answer in that round is worth 30 points.
Okay, thanks, PJ.
Thank you.
Okay, listeners, are you ready? Round 1 begins right now. Question number 1. Who was enlisted by the Roman soldiers to help Jesus carry his cross to Calvary? Was it Paul of Tarsus, Simon of Cyrene, or Joseph of Arimathea? And the answer is Simon of Cyrene. From Acts 2, verse 10, we know that people from Cyrene were among the first Christian believers at the day of Pentecost. Simon of Cyrene may have been there also. Question number 2. He was the third son of Adam and Eve. He is not nearly as famous as his older brothers, Cain and Abel. Is it Jeremiah, Seth, or Johnson? And the answer is Seth. From Genesis chapter 4, it says, Adam made love to his wife again, and she gave birth to a son and named him Seth, saying, God has granted me another child in place of Abel, since Cain killed him. Question number 3. True or false? There are first-class relics of the Blessed Virgin Mary housed in the Basilica of St. Mark in Venice, Italy. True or false? And the answer is true. In Venice, they venerate a bundle of Our Lady's hair. The reliquary in which it is contained bears the seal of Pope Pius VI, validating the authenticity of the relic. Question number 4. Which of the following is an example of murder? Capital punishment, abortion, or racism? And the answer is abortion. In the Catechism of the Catholic Church, number 2271, it says, the Catholic Church states that abortion is always wrong because life begins at conception and is God-given. Question number 5. Who is the patron saint of pharmacists? Saint Gemma Galgani, Saint Charles Borromeo, or Pope St. Julius I? And the answer is St. Gemma Galgani. St. Gemma was diagnosed with tuberculosis of the spine when she was 20. She was completely cured after praying countless novenas to St. Gabriel.
Question number 6. Baptism is the sacrament with which our lives as Christians begin. It is a sacrament of which of these? Spiritual rebirth, spiritual renewal, or spiritual growth? And the answer is spiritual rebirth. Baptism is a spiritual rebirth in Christ. I baptize you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit must be spoken, or the sacrament is not valid. Question number 7. According to Luke, what type of animal were the 2 disciples asked to collect and bring to Jesus for his procession into Jerusalem? Is it a colt, a camel, or an elephant? And the answer is a colt. From Luke 19:30, Jesus asked them to bring a colt who had never been ridden by a man and to explain to its owners that the Lord has need of him, referring to the colt. Question number 8. True or false? St. Francis was there when Jesus was born. And the answer is false. St. Francis is credited with being among the first to use a nativity scene with animals and a baby to remember the Christmas story, but he lived almost 1,200 years after Jesus was born. Question number 9. This patron saint of chastity, rape victims, and virgins was martyred at the tender age of 13. Her name resembles the Latin word for lamb. Is it Saint Regina, Saint Isidora, or Saint Agnes? And the answer is Saint Agnes. Saint Agnes was dragged through the streets naked to a brothel because Roman law strictly prohibited execution of virgins. She was finally executed by beheading when she refused to deny her faith. Question number 10. According to John's Gospel, in which of the following languages was the inscription, Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews, not posted on Christ's cross? Was it Hebrew, Arabic, or Latin? And the answer was Arabic. From John chapter 19, and the writing was Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews, and it was written in Hebrew, Greek, and Latin.
Okay, that wraps up round 1. 100 points. If you got all those right, 100 points. We're going to take our first break, but before we go to break, we're going to leave you with a bonus question worth 25 points. Now, here's the bonus question. This word means solemn condemnation of biblical origin used by the church to declare that some position or teaching contradicts faith and doctrine. What is that word? We'll give you the answer on the other side of the break. You're listening to Catholic Challenge 2.0, an exclusive production here on the Living Bread Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Stay in touch with the Church with Liturgy of the Word podcast. You can even ask Alexa to play Liturgy of the Word.
Welcome back to Catholic Challenge 2.0 here on the Living Bread Radio Network. We just took our first break, and we left you with a bonus question worth 25 points. PJ, let's give our listeners the answer.
Sure. This word means solemn condemnation, a biblical origin used by the church to declare that some position or teaching contradicts Catholic faith and doctrine. And the answer is anathema, or accursed. As Paul writes in Galatians, if anyone preach to you a gospel besides what you have received, let them be accursed. Another version replaces accursed with anathema. Anathema in Catholic terms is obviously very serious.
Okay, that was a hard question. So if you got that right, kudos and 25 points. Okay, we're going to move into round 2 here. Each one of these questions is worth 10 points. Round 2 starts right now. Question number 1. According to Genesis, God sent a great flood to punish the wickedness of man. Who was the one righteous man on the earth who was spared death from this flood? Was it Abraham, Moses, or Noah? And the answer is Noah. After the flood, the waters receded, and Noah and his family repopulated the earth in the centuries to come, making us all descendants of Noah. Question number 2. Which of the following is always sinful? Anger, arguing, or contraception? And the answer is contraception. In 1968, Pope Paul VI issued his landmark encyclical letter, Humanae Vitae, that is Latin for human life, which re-emphasizes the Church's constant teaching that it is always intrinsically wrong to use contraception to prevent new human beings from coming into existence. Question number 3. The 30 pieces of silver, which Judas had taken to betray Jesus, was used to purchase Potter's field. What was this field used for? Was it pottery, growing wheat, or cemetery? And the answer is cemetery. The Potter's field was used as a cemetery for foreigners and became known as the Field of Blood. Question number 4. What encyclical addressing the ills of industrialism set a precedent for economic and social teaching into the 20th century? Evangelium Gaudium, Rerum Novarum, or Lumen Gentium? And the answer is Rerum Novarum, meaning conditions of labor. Opening with a description of the grievances of the working classes, it proceeds to refute the false theories of the socialists and to defend the right of private ownership. The Church is interested in the question because of its moral and religious aspects. Question number 5. The author of Genesis records this man's father as being Enoch, son of Seth, son of Adam and Eve. He lived to be 969 years old. Was it Abraham, Methuselah, or Aaron? And the answer is Methuselah. There is no record of any other human being having lived as long as this, for which reason the name Methuselah has become a synonym for longevity.
Question number 6. In the New Testament, which of these images or symbols is not used to represent the church? A temple, a bride, or a pyramid? And the answer is a pyramid. The word pyramid is actually found in 1 Maccabees in reference to monuments for deceased loved ones, but not as a symbol representing the church. Question number 7. This saint, who we know was related to Jesus, but the specific relation is unknown, has 2 feast days on the Roman calendar. His birthday on June 24th is one of them. Who is this saint? Is it Saint Joseph, Saint John the Baptist, or Saint Paul? And the answer is Saint John the Baptist. For centuries, people of Christian countries have kept a solemn vigil for the festival of John the Baptist's birth. In the dark of the night preceding the feast, a bonfire would light up the area. John the Baptist was the light bearer before Christ. Question number 8. What is the name of the garden where Judas betrayed Jesus? Was it Eden, Gethsemane, or Tabor? And the answer is Gethsemane. The betrayal kiss of Judas took place on the Mount of Olives in the Garden of Gethsemane, where Jesus underwent unprecedented mortal agony. Question number 9. The term Theotokos means God-bearer. To whom does it refer? Is it John the Baptist, Veronica, or our Blessed Mother? And the answer is our Blessed Mother. The origin of this title of Our Lady is from the ecclesiastical Greek, from theos meaning God and tokos meaning bringing forth. question number 10. He was the only English bishop to defy King Henry VIII. Was it Thomas Cromwell, Stephen Gardiner, or Thomas Fisher? And the answer is Thomas Fisher. Bishop Thomas Fisher stayed loyal to the Pope when Henry VIII formed his own church. His last words were, "I die the king's good servant, but God's first."
Okay, that ends round 2. 10 points apiece each one of those questions was worth. We're going to take our second break, but before we go to break, we're going to leave you with another bonus question, and this bonus question is worth 25 points. Here's the question. Ad Majorem Dei Gloriam is the motto of the Society of Jesus and is commonly used by Christians everywhere. What do these Latin words mean? That's a tough one. We'll give you the answer when we come back. You're listening to Catholic Challenge 2.0 on the Living Bread Radio Network.
It's great Catholic music. Listen at greatcatholicmusic.com. Make your day blessed with great Catholic music.
Welcome back to Catholic Challenge 2.0 here on the Living Bread Radio Network. We just took our second break, and before the break, we left you with a pretty tough question. So we're going to give you the answer. If you get it right, you get 25 points.
All right, here's the question. Ad Majorem Dei Gloriam is the motto of the Society of Jesus and is commonly used by Christians everywhere. What do these words mean? And the answer is for the greater glory of God. The motto means to strive to give God more glory by always doing what is more pleasing to Him.
All right, great, PJ. And also, sometimes we see AMDG at the top of things. All righty. Now we're going to move into round 3, 10 points each for each one of these questions. Question number 1. What is the name of the Old Testament city that Joshua and the Israelites destroyed by marching around it 7 times? Is it Jericho, Jerusalem, or Jaffa? And the answer is Jericho. The siege of Jericho is recounted in the book of Joshua, chapters 5 and 6. The Ark of the Covenant of the Lord was with them in their victory. Question number 2. He was the first Archbishop of Mainz and is known as the Apostle to the Germans. Is it St. Benedict, St. Boniface, or St. Stanislaus? And the answer is St. Boniface. St. Boniface was an English monk who lived in the 8th century. He is the patron saint of Germany. Question number 3. Who was the servant whose ear Peter cut off during Jesus' arrest? Was it Nehemiah, Malchus, or Titus? And the answer is Malchus. From John 18:10, Malchus, servant of the high priest, was attacked by Peter when Jesus was arrested in the garden. Question number 4. According to the book of Acts, how many people were converted on the first Pentecost? Was it 3,000, 200, or 10? And the answer is 3,000. From Acts chapter 2, those who accepted his message were baptized, and about 3,000 persons were added that day. Question number 5. This heretic taught that Adam would have died even if he had not sinned. Is it Arius, Pelagius, or Nestorius? And the answer is Pelagius. 2 of the doctrines of Pelagius are, first, even if Adam had not sinned, he would have died. And second, Adam's sin harmed only himself, not the human race. These definitely are not the teachings of the Catholic Church.
Question number 6. When he got off the ark, what was the first thing Noah did? Did he build a fire, kiss the ground, or build an altar? And the answer is build an altar. From Genesis 8:20, then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and choosing from every clean animal and every clean bird, he offered burnt offerings on the altar. Question number 7. The mother of the Blessed Virgin Mary is considered to be the patron saint of mothers and grandmothers. Who is she? Is it Saint Elizabeth, Saint Anne, or Saint Bridget? And the answer is Saint Anne. Saint Anne was the wife of Saint Joachim and was chosen to be the mother of Mary the Virgin. Mary was only 3 years old when Joachim and Anne led her up the temple steps and left her there as a consecrated virgin. Question number 8. In the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, Jesus says, "When you are praying, do not use meaningless repetition as the Gentiles do." He goes on to say, "Pray, then, in this way." And he teaches us which prayer. Was it the Our Father, the Apostles' Creed, or the Hail Mary? And the answer is the Our Father. Jesus concludes with this, "If you forgive others their transgressions, your heavenly Father will forgive you. But if you do not forgive others, neither will your Father forgive your transgressions." Question number 9. In Jewish times, the penalty for adultery was death by what? Was it stoning, mutilation, or starvation? And the answer was stoning. From Leviticus chapter 20. If a man commits adultery with his neighbor's wife, both the adulterer and the adulteress shall be put to death. The punishment for this crime was stoning to death at a place of public execution. Question number 10. What is the name of the outer garment the priest wears while saying Mass? Is it an alb, a chasuble, or a cincture? And the answer is a chasuble. The chasuble is seen as the yoke of Christ and reminds the priest that he is another Christ in the holy sacrifice of the Mass.
Okay, we're moving right along. That wraps up round 3. We're going to take our final break. But before we go to break, we're going to leave you with another bonus question. Here's the bonus question from Mark chapter 8, verses 34 and 35. We have this quote. "Whoever wishes to come after me must deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me." These are the conditions for what? We'll give you the answer when we come back. You're listening to Catholic Challenge 2.0 on the Living Bread Radio Network.
For 15 years, the Living Bread Radio Network has been proclaiming the truth of Jesus Christ, and our programs, podcasts, and videos have connected with you and countless numbers of the faithful in Northeast Ohio and around the world. Go to livingbreadradio.com and click the Donate button. Be part of the next 15 years at livingbreadradio.com. Thanks.
Welcome back to Catholic Challenge 2.0. We just went to break, and before break, we left you with a bonus question worth 25 points, and PJ is going to give us the answer.
All right, from Mark chapter 8, 34 through 35. "Whoever wishes to come after me must deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me." These are conditions for what? The answer is discipleship. This utterance of Jesus challenges all believers to authentic discipleship and total commitment to himself through self-renunciation and acceptance of the cross of suffering, even to the sacrifice of life itself.
Okay, 25 points for that bonus question. We're going to move into the challenge round here. Before we move into that, I want to remind you that you can listen to Catholic Challenge on your smart speaker, Alexa or Google. Just ask your smart speaker to play Catholic Challenge and sit back and enjoy the game. All right, we're going to move into the challenge round here. PJ, it's a little bit different. Let's give our listeners the rules.
All right, so the fourth and final round is the challenge round, and this round increases the difficulty since no multiple choice answers will be provided. And each correct answer in this round is worth 30 points.
Okay, challenge round starts right now. Question number 1. This man was born Jorge Mario Bergoglio in 1936. He actually worked briefly as a nightclub bouncer before beginning his seminary studies. Who is this man? And the answer is Pope Francis. Ordained as a priest in December 1969, Bergoglio began serving as Jesuit Provincial of Argentina in 1973 and obviously moved on from there.
Question number 2. What does the acronym RCIA stand for? And the answer is Rite of Christian Initiation for Adults. RCIA is a process developed by the Catholic Church for prospective converts to Catholicism who are above the age of infant baptism.
That sound means we've run out of time. We have one more question. PJ, let's give our listeners a final question.
All right, here's the last question. What was the name of the ark where the commandments given to Moses were kept? And the answer is the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant was constructed in 1446 BC to hold the 2 tablets of stone inscribed with the 10 commandments that were given to Moses by God on Mount Sinai.
Okay, that's the match. Had some very tough questions
We did.
today. Hope you did well, scored well today. Tune in again next time for another edition of Catholic Challenge 2.0 here on the Living Bread Radio Network. For PJ Chavez, my co-host, I'm your host, Barbara G. Praised be Jesus Christ.
You've been listening to Catholic Challenge 2.0, a production of the Living Bread Radio Network in Canton, Ohio. For a podcast or archive of this program, go to livingbreadradio.com and join us next week for another edition of Catholic Challenge 2.0.